So guys, how's it going? My name is Dal, and we got a brand new update regarding some upcoming content for the War Within expansion, specifically the patch 11.2.5, which finally got a proper release date. Technically, we already had a ballpark of when this update is going to be arriving thanks to Legion Remix preview on the PTR, but any dates viewed on PTR are never accurate and are never the final date, so it was a little bit up in the air up until recently with the proper blue post. Patch 11.2.5 brings with it a bunch of new catch-ups, whether you're looking to level up a bunch of characters through Legion Remix to get an army of ults ready ahead of midnight, or if you're just looking to finish up all of your seasonal rewards for Season 3, and this patch is meant to be a massive catch-up patch for any players that are looking to come back for 11.2.5 in preparation for midnight. With the proper release date, we also got a schedule for the content and when it will be arriving, as they're looking to let this content come out in phases, very similar to the re-release of Classic World of Warcraft or the Anniversary Realms. Not everything is available immediately, so they actually have very specific key dates as to when different pieces of content are going to be arriving. And for this video, I really wanted to go over exactly that schedule of the content and when it will be made available. So like if you're coming back for the turbo boost to finish up Season 3 War Within rewards, I want to go over when the gear vendors are going to be made available, when any of the major all-friendly catch-up bonuses are going to be made available, and when they're going to have the different content coming out for Legion Remix in particular as well. All of the details for any of you that are looking to come back ahead of midnight to get some of your last-minute prep done before we dive into the next chapter of the World Soul Saga. As always, if you guys want to keep up with regular content updates regarding War Within and onwards, like Midnight Alpha, be sure to follow the channel and subscribe. But otherwise, let's dive right in. First of all, we have two big pieces of content arriving as part of the patch 11.2.5, one of them being Legion Remix, which I'm pretty sure we covered pretty regularly on the channel, as detailed as possible. There's definitely going to be more videos on the content, as well as Turbo Boost in particular. Those are the two biggest features that are going to be either a new way to play the game, catch up characters, or even catch up on gear, finishing out all of your seasonal rewards before midnight. For Legion Remix in particular, it is going to be a content that if you missed out on Mop Remix, you definitely do not want to miss out on Legion Remix. The Remix whole seasonal activity that they started is actually so fun. The amount of rewards you can earn, easy catch up for any new characters in terms of leveling, prep and ults for a new expansion, all of that. It is an actual breath of fresh air of an experience while waiting for the next major chapter of World of Warcraft. And Legion Remix is going to be the same as MOP. A limited time seasonal event where you get to create a time runner, where normally we get to do time walking through dungeons and raids. It's a bite-sized experience from an older expansion era that you get to go in, kill a couple of bosses, get some loot, and you're out. And you're just kind of time walking through that content. A time runner, on the other hand, actually gets to basically run through the entire expansion with a much rapid pace, much faster leveling from 10 to 80. You'll be able to collect powers, face Legion challenges, earn a ton of Legion themed cosmetics, and so much more along the way. As for the actual content, which we'll be definitely doing deeper dives into all of it once the system is out, but you'll basically experience every dungeon of Legion as well as the Mythic Plus version of Legion Mythic Plus with some of the older affixes and older mechanics and everything that basically made that system. Since Mythic Plus was born in Legion, every old raid you also will be able to experience on every difficulty: normal, heroic, LFR, mythic. You'll experience the entirety of Legion stories, from the Legion campaign quests, local story quest lines, class order halls, and one for every single class out here except for Evoker, which wasn't a class that was around during Legion specifically, the artifact weapon quest line, but then other open world activities like Legion assaults, invasion points, wither training, and so much more. You also will be able to have a new quest line with the Infinite Dragonflight, as they're a bit more involved this time around, with their stories running parallel alongside with Legion content. The artifact weapons are back in a very unique way, and they will be primarily used as a form of power progression, but with a lot more customization compared to MOP Remix, which just gave you a cloak and you powered it up, and that's all you really got. You couldn't really customize your character. Heroic Royalty is another feature that I've talked a lot about, and I've talked a lot of good things about it. It's essentially taking like the idea of Diablo world tiers, how you can turn up the difficulty of the world content, but get better rewards. They're essentially trying that within Legion Remix. It makes open world content in retail much more difficult, adding a bit more challenge, but also a ton more rewards for it, like faster leveling, as well as so many different power-up upgrades in terms of being able to make a stronger character. Like, you can literally get raid gear by doing open world activities, which is really a new take as to what they wanted to do when it comes to the open world systems. And then, of course, the best part of Legion Remix, like Mop Remix, is the cosmetics. Like, you just can obtain so many different items. There'll be a new currency for this content of bronze, and just about everything you do, from endgame activities, open world stuff, questing, grinding, farming, rep farm, anything you do in the game will earn you bronze, which you can spend on guaranteed rewards. A lot of those rewards will be stuff you can obtain from the Legion expansion. Like, if you've been farming Antorus for a while and you just haven't had your hands on this mount whatsoever, it is a pretty low drop rate, but in Legion Remix you'll be able to grind out bronze to buy this item guaranteed. It won't be inexpensive, it'll cost a decent bit of bronze, but you can still work towards and grind towards specific rewards, and you can work on unlocking them rather than just have a random chance lottery every single week whether you get the mount or not. So it's going to be a different take as to how you can unlock some of those Legion specific rewards that you can actively work towards, which is a really good breath of fresh air. Outside of the original Legion rewards, which you'll be able to get with bronze, you also get a bunch of new ones like this whole armor set, the Ashara attire for completing the entire zone and some of the zone achievements of Nighthold and the Nightborn with Suramar. You'll be able to unlock an armor piece like this. So they got some stuff for exploration, for open world content, but then you also have some challenge rewards like this Sargerai. This is the Infernal set, I'm pretty sure. It's the red set. There's like 4 variations: green, purple, red, as well as like this holy white or holy yellow, more or less. But there's 4 different sets that you'll be able to obtain through challenge rewards, and this one you got from, I believe at the time the achievement was to defeat a plus 25 Keystone dungeon. I think I soloed a plus 35 or plus 40 for this instead, which in Legion Remix you will be able to get quite a significant bit of power, so you can actually solo a lot of its content eventually. But there's a bunch of different rewards, from challenges, difficult content, easy content, exploration. There's so many of these things you can collect that'll be exclusive to Legion Remix specifically, and you'll be able to unlock them only while Legion Remix is out. However, with this blue post that Blizzard released regarding the release date, we also got a content schedule for Legion Remix. Not all of Legion's content will be made available day 1. They decided to go about it with using a phasing system, very similar to what they did for the release of Classic World of Warcraft, how they didn't release all of its content immediately, and they apparently saw a lot of good feedback from the fact that stuff was phased, so players didn't feel like they had to rush to get to max level and complete everything all at once. So they're going to be phasing Legion Remix as well, and new content essentially is going to be rolling out every 2 weeks, which is very different compared to how they did it with Mists of Pandaria. October 7th was going to be the day where Skies of Fire was going to be released, which is base world content, Legion questlines, Artifact Weapon questlines, Emerald, Nightmare, and Trial of Valor raids, as well as every single dungeon will be made available day 1. October 21st will be the Rise of the Nightfallen, which will advance the Nightfallen story in the Insurrection campaign and us marching into the Nighthold raid subsequently, with the Karazhan Mega Dungeon making a return. So you'll be able to run the original Mega Dungeon version, but eventually I think they'll unlock the ability for us to run Mythic Plus version of it either during the October 21st update or at some time later. November 4th will be Legion Fall. Broken Shore Zone will become accessible during that time, with a bunch of Legion assaults all throughout the Broken Isles. Cathedral of Eternal Night Dungeon as well as Shuma Sargeras Raid are both available during that phase release. November 18th is Argus Eternal, with the Argus campaign, 3 new zones of the planet of Argus, Cedar Triumvirate Dungeon located in Argus, as well as on Taurus the Burning Throne Raid will be made available with that phase as well. The final phase will be on December 9th, however, called Infinite Echoes. Legion Remix timeline will begin to collapse, which is part of the Eternal, or rather the Infinite Bronze Dragonflight questline, how they're basically using the Legion questline or Legion timeline as for experiments and such, and there's going to be quests related to that specific storyline as well during this final phase. Essentially, it's an opportunity for players to say goodbye and embrace the chaos, whatever that means, of the end of Legion Remix, and they'll likely be ending it with some sort of a bang, potentially with even more rewards for players that are still sticking around towards the tail end of the experience, which would be very awesome to see. And as somebody who loved the expansion of Legion dearly when it originally released, I am so excited to dive into the remix version of this expansion. It's been incredibly fun to test out over on the PTR so far, and I cannot wait to really sink my teeth into this content once it's officially released. However, we're not done with content, as we got Turbo Boost on the horizon as part of the 11.2.5 update, so it's going to be happening parallel to Legion Remix, which will give players so much to do, so you can either focus on seasonal rewards and seasonal endgame for War Within, or if you're just done with War Within, ready for Midnight, but want something fresh, not really ready to give up World of Warcraft for a while, we have Legion Remix to give some a breath of fresh air, so every type of audience that's playing retail will be served, hopefully, with this change. However, Turbo Boost initial release as well as some other features will roll out at a different time. Initially, with the launch of 11.2.5, you'll immediately have access to higher track gear for heroic and mythic track pieces of items, which will be extended by 2 additional upgrades. So that means hero track gear will be that much closer to becoming mythic ready, and mythic gear will be even higher item level in general. So it'll be a massive gain for all players all across the board, and you'll be able to upgrade the item level of all crafted gear with a quick recraftable component, which you'll be able to add to all the different pieces. So everybody's going to be getting huge item level increases as part of this catch-up benefits of the Turbo Boost. Soon after the release as well, though, however, after the release, no idea exactly when though, they'll be doing other improvements such as additional gear drop rates from Mythic Plus dungeons and the Mana Forge Omega raid. There will be greatly increased, specifically when it comes to Warband gear, so you'll be able to get additional items for, to gear up all of your ults as you play your main, so that'll be an opportunity to catch up all of your other characters. Valor Stones will become transferable across warbands. I don't know if they'll come back with a tax for it, because there used to be like a 20% tax on transferring Valor Stones between characters. I don't know if they'll keep that or they'll remove it. Hopefully they'll remove it, as well as remove Valor Stones in general from the game. Gear vendors apparently also going to be back as well, and you'll be able to buy direct gear from the Mana Forge Omega raid or any of the Mythic Plus trinkets and potentially other items that they may add on this list as well. I think also the Delve items might be upgraded too. Might be able to buy Delve trinkets on Hero Track as well, potentially, unless they make some changes with that in the future. And you also will be able to earn Ethereal Void Splinters currency, which from Mythic Plus as well as raids, delves, and PvP, which is just additional bonus catalyst charges for all of your ults. So if you just need to catch up and get a bunch of catalyst charges to catalyze a bunch of gear very, very rapidly, you'll be able to just start earning that as you play endgame content as part of the Turbo Boost update, which is going to be yet another way that they're trying to make that Turbo Boost even better when it comes to catching up all of your alt characters as quickly as possible. But with that being said, as always, I do want to thank all of you guys so much for watching, and hope you guys did enjoy this update. If you did enjoy it or found it informative, go ahead and give this video a like, as I would very much appreciate it. Also, be sure to join our Discord community, especially if you want to stay up to date with any of the future guides and info we'll be putting out regarding Legion Remix or potentially the upcoming Midnight Alpha, whatever that's going to be made available at some point, hopefully in the near future. Let me know all your thoughts in the comments down below, and as always, I'll see all of you guys in the next one.